Hotep, after Uhuru. This is General Muti Ajamu-Osagboro doing a book review on Adapt. This is basically take one. The book Adapt by Charles J. Williams. I read it. It's a good read. Here's the book right here. You probably read it. If you're reading, not necessarily fast, you can read it in one night. Take your time. You read it in 2 nights. And if you take copious notes like I do, you read it once and then you go back to take the notes. The best way that I can describe the book, it's a good read in that he did something that most of us think about doing but never actually do. And it's going into an environment. Doesn't matter what environment it is. You know, prison is on both sides of the fence. The small prison is the cages that most people find themselves in, and the big prison is on the other side of that fence. What he did in the book is, I've always referred to prison as a microcosm, or excuse me, a petri dish. And it is the microcosm of the macrocosm. It is the small version of the other side of the fence, the so-called free world, the big prison. And the microcosm is a petri dish. And the petri dish, when you look into it with the naked eye, you can't really see anything in it. You can't see what's going on, the germs, the parasites, and things of that nature. However, when you look through the telescope, the microscope, excuse me, and you're able to see what the naked eye can't see, you can see this all different types of worlds and life going on. You see one-celled life choking out each other, living on each other, parasites sucking the life out of one another, life forms connecting together, building, replicating themselves, and everything. That's what the prison environment is like. He did a version of that, and it's called Adapt. And he took various animals, sharks, apes, eagles, rats, deers. I don't think he used a deer, but he used a whole bunch of other animals, and he gave value or description to the animals, and then he go into what that animal represents in any given environment. So let's say there's 35 different personalities or mentalities, excuse me, in the world. And after you master what those 35 mentalities look like, just using the number 35 as an example, you master those 35, wherever you go, no matter what environment you're in, you're going to see those same 35 mentalities. So basically, what Charles J. Williams did, a.k.a. Lil Charlie, did was he put those mentalities into animals. Now, I disagree with a lot of the definitions that he gave the animals. He could have gave them more. He could have been much more descriptive, much more indicative of who they really are. However, the best thing about the book is he actually did it. Most of us talk about it, but we won't do it. He did it. And because he did it, he put it down, and it's a good read. It simplifies for many people who never really think about these things or these type of mentalities. And once you read this and you get a good idea of what it is, you can actually do your own. You can take the same animals or different animals and give them some type of numeric value or some type of conceptual value as to what that animal means as it relates to manifesting itself in human beings. And that's what Charlie did. And he made it simple for a lot of people. That's why it's a good read. And the word adapt, I would have used 2 words. He said adapt. I would have also added to that word adapt, shorter for adaptation. I would have also added to that word improvisation, because I think those 2 words go together, and they represent a necessary thinking and an arsenal when you're trying to go into an environment and figure it out, particularly when that environment is hostile. And as we know, America is a hostile environment. So when you go to prison or in prison, prison is hostile accelerated. And so by writing the book Adapt and giving these properties to various animals, character traits, he made it easy for the reader and anybody who's trying to figure out any environment. He made it easy for them, and they can use the techniques or the phrases or the values and definitions that he gave to these animals. They can use them in their own personal lives to figure things out. And that's really what people want to do, to be able to figure things out, especially when you're going into an environment you don't really know much about. And then once you figure out what these animal traits represent or these characteristics, anywhere you go, you'll see those same animal traits. And it's a good read. And I would say that if you're serious about understanding people and how people function in certain environments, or any environment, really, not certain environments, any environments, it's definitely a read that you should have. Make a nice gift for a child or an adult, a serious reader. And that's it. Go on and cop it. If you don't, I will. Hotep, after Huru, the ancient peace, after freedom, Uhuru Nikasi, freedom is work. Harambe 7 times. Harambe, 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 Harambe. Let's pull together.